Good afternoon, everybody. Keith Engle here with your TGI Sports Talk. The TGI Sports Talk, Major League Baseball update. Lots and lots of stuff going on today. Who's hot? Let's just real quick before I jump into some housekeeping. The Braves and Reds and Giants stay hot. The Reds on fire 11 in a row. The Braves 8 in a row. Giants 9 of the last 10. The Pirates going the other way, minus 10. Down 10 in a row. Rockies and Nationals, terrible. And the A's and the Royals continue to battle it out to see who's the worst team in baseball and maybe in baseball history. I do not doubt that we will be looking at that as we go forward. Oh, my God, it's terrible. Terrible, some of the baseball being played out there. What else happened yesterday? The Rays lost another ace, and McClanahan gets a back injury before the start yesterday. We'll get into a lot of other stuff. Some interesting stuff in the I'll try to show the video that Alan Perales showed me from the Texas game the other night. A horrible call at home plate. Another stupid rule in baseball. We'll get into a little bit. But welcome, everybody. We're here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You're watching us on either TGI Sports Talk or Let's Talk Sports. You may see us on Sideline Sports later on. Check out all the shows on Let's Talk Sports. Check out all my shows, obviously. We've got this one. We do the Are You Serious show, which I do with the Mad New Yorker. He was absent today. At 5 o'clock today, I'll do the Let's Talk New York Sports show with Dan Harris from Let's Talk Sports. And I've got my Sunday Stream of Consciousness, and soon a couple things will be back. The View show, one-on-one with Keith Engle, will be back in July at some point after I get my move done here next weekend. And also, we'll be returning to the college sports, pretty much the college football huddle going forward. We may talk a little College World Series, a great game last night between LSU and Wake Forest, ending in a walk-off home run. And the top-seeded Wake Forest Demon Deacons are out. The finals are set. Florida against LSU. 2 out of 3 will start, I believe, tomorrow. So lots of stuff to talk about today. We'll get into all of that. We'll look at the standings. We'll look at some other stuff. Hello, CA. Don't talk to me about the Yankees. Oh, my God. It's funny, the Astros and the Rangers, right now they're both kind of just puttering along, but, the Yankees right now are just atrocious. Nobody's stepping up in the pitching department. Herman has given up, I think, 15 runs in about 2 1/3 innings this last 2 starts. So he's not stepping up. Nobody's stepped up to pick up Judge. The offense is horrendous. I mean, when Bauer and I'm trying to think of the other kid's name now, escaping me here. Hold on, let me see if I can find it real quick. We know who I'm talking about. Hell's his name? It's terrible. I don't remember names anymore. McKinney, Billy McKinney. He's been they're probably their best hitter, best player in the last month. Bauer started to pick up a little bit, but everybody else stinks. LeMahieu stinks. Donaldson stinks. Volpe stinks. Might be time to give him a little respite at AAA and bring Peraza up here. Bad stuff going on, man. It's awful. Thank God it's Friday for sure. Good to have you with us here today, CA. Anybody else pops in, hopefully you'll, or if you're watching this later even, feel free to comment. If you're here live at some point, feel free to bring up some topics and we'll jump into whatever you want. The king of the emojis, CA, has got me stumped again. What is that? The hell is that? Who's starting against Dunning tonight? Tonight is going to be, good grief, we'll find out because it could be it might be Brito. Let me find out. I'll get to the. I've got the schedule up here somewhere. At least I thought I did, because we were going to talk about the upcoming series this weekend. Anyway, Yankees and Texas, by the way, a little bit of a throwdown here series with me and some of my viewers. Texas has got Dan Dunning. Oh, Clark Schmidt tonight. Schmidt's pitched better recently. He's got off to a horrible start, but I like Schmidt. I've always been a big fan of Schmidt, and we'll see how he does tonight against Dane Dunning, who's been very, very good for Texas. I still think if Texas has a problem, it's going to be pitching. Maybe more the bullpen than the starters. I'm not sure. But there'll be lots of relievers available come the trade deadline, I can tell you that. So maybe not such a big deal. Listen, we'll get into some of the first wave of the first stage of the All-Star balloting at some point today as well as going through all the news and that. Well, we're going to talk about I talked about it on Are You Serious today, but the commissioners, Rob Manfred's continued obsession with the Astros cheating scandals. Just shut up already. I'm a Yankee fan. I don't think we lost the 2017 ALCS because the Astros are stealing signs. Just stop already. Manfred's already has talked about how he leveled, millions of dollars in fines. He suspended A.J. Hinch and the GM, and they eventually were fired. Now he's talking about how he regrets giving the players amnesty. Well, guess what? This stuff's been going on for freaking 150 years. So stop. I was thinking about this today. It struck me. It struck me as I was talking about this on Are You Serious? That pitchers and catchers now can use technology to keep people from stealing signs, right? With whatever they call the pitch selector, where, I said this morning, we'll see whether it plays better today. Where the pitcher, the catcher pushes a button and he wants a fastball. The pitcher gets shocked in his genitals once for a fastball, twice for a curveball, etc. I don't think that's the way it works, but I wish it did. But you can use technology to do that and hide your signs. But don't use technology to steal signs. Is every sport just full of hypocrites? Or is it me? Yeah, it must be me. Rick Sherlock, hello, buddy. How are you? Good to have you with us today. Kenny was talking about you this morning. Nothing bad. All good. Understand you're going to retire soon. He was off to therapy today, and he's going to be ready to play golf. Off topics, good spot for Andre Jackson, by the way. Andre Jackson Jr. from Amsterdam. We won't spend a lot of time on this because it is off baseball, but local product out of Amsterdam, New York, related to some good friends of mine, the Altieri's, and some other people. A lot of people know him and the family, and we're pulling for him and the Connecticut Huskies to win the national championship. I was rooting for them, but I wasn't rooting for them to win because I wanted to make money. But he was drafted last night, 36 by the Bucks, and I think the Bucks are a great fit for Andre Jackson. And remember, we'll bring that up a little bit on Sunday, the Stream of Conscious. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But actually, good call there, Rick. I forgot to mention it this morning that Mr. Jackson got to be the first Amsterdam product in professional basketball, I would think. There's been some from Schenectady and Clifton Park area, Saratoga. So there have been others, but not for Amsterdam, I don't believe. Not in basketball. Baseball, not basketball. So congratulations to him, by the way. CA says not Brito. No, he did pitch well the other day, by the way. One of the few guys who's been pitching well, him and Cole. It is, as I said, Clark Schmidt. He did pitch well the other day after being recalled, but his ERA is still around 6. But other than that, the bullpen is keeping the Yankees in the race in the East. I agree with that 100%. The Red Sox are above 500. The East is tough. The AL East is a tough division of baseball, without a doubt. Red Sox are better than I thought they'd be. Their lineup is better than I thought it would be, and they're pitching, again, something that may hold them back at the end of the day. Right now has been okay. Sale going out. Somebody else got hurt the other day. Oh, Houck got hit in the face. He'll be out for a bit. But we'll talk a little bit about that. So anyway, back to what I was talking about. This year, the majority of the boomers retire. Not me. This boomer will retire in 2 years, unless he's retired first. Retired by the company first. Let's see how that goes. And then if things are going great in 2 years, well, maybe we'll stay. I don't know. Still working from home 3 years later, 3.5 years later, almost. So just a lot. There's a lot of changes in the wind at our corporation, and some good. Just a lot. It's a lot going on. So, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll stay till I'm 100. Maybe I'll have to stay till I'm 100. I don't know. Anyway, we're talking about Rob Manfred a little bit. Let's stay with that for just a second. So Rob Manfred, and again, CA, I have an extra grind here of anybody, Yankee fans, Yankee front office. Brian Cashman keeps crying about the sign stealing in 2017 regular season, postseason, into 2018. But I say it's much ado about nothing, and I continue to say it. But Rob Manfred can't let it go away. And I'm just sick to death of his not, he's got to go. I'm telling you right now. Maybe we'll dive back into that later. I don't know. What's going on here? Oh, by the way, Joe Ryan yesterday. Look at a couple of scores, because I didn't mention this at the top. But Joe Ryan actually pitched a shutout, a complete game shutout. Go figure. I mean, did they get permission from the commissioner to let this happen? The Twins beat the Red Sox, who looked absolutely lost yesterday, by the way. 6-0. But Ryan pitches 9 innings. Let's see how many pitches did he throw. 112 pitches. Blasphemy. 3 hits, no walks, 9 strikeouts, 112 pitches, complete game, 3-hitter, shutout. 3-hit shutout. Great job by Joe Ryan. Kudos to Rocco Baldelli for actually, maybe not paying attention to his analytics book. Ugh. Yankees get hammered. As I said, Herman gets whacked around again. He had pitched well up until recently, but we need Herman to step up. We need Schmidt to step up tonight against the Rangers. The pitching's banged up. Rendon's pitching a little bit in Double-A. I don't have any faith that he's going to be able to help this team when he comes back. I just don't. 10-2 is a loss last night. Yankees again did not look good. The Braves win their 8th in a row. Ozuna homers in a 5-run 10th inning as the Braves beat the Phillies 5-1 for their 8th straight win. The Phillies had been hot. We'll get to the standings in a little bit. They've cooled off a little bit, but still playing decent baseball. Don't blame Rob Thompson. Diamondbacks continue to play well in the West. 5-3, they win over the Nationals. Ketel Marte hits a 3-run homer to lead them yesterday. We talked about the Red Sox game. The Guardians beat the Athletics. The A's and the Royals are battling it out for maybe historic. Maybe they'll both be history-making teams. They both suck, man. Oh my God, it's awful. Guardians beat them 6-1 yesterday. Giants lose. I think they had been the end of the 10-game win streak yesterday. The Padres whooped up on them 10-0. The Padres still can't get over that 500 mark, though. The Rays lose to the Royals. As we said yesterday, it's bad enough they lost the game to the horrible Royals, but they lost their ace, another ace, to a back injury this time. He didn't even get in the game yesterday. The Pirates lose their 10th in a row. They're quickly falling out of this race, even in the horrible Central of the NL. They lose to the Marlins, surprising Marlins, 6-4. Garrett Cooper with a 3-run homer there. So pretty good, some pretty good games yesterday. Back calls around, catchers not really blocking the plate. How about this? I'll show you this, CA. I showed it this morning. We want to talk about horrendous rules. They put this rule in play, gosh, I want to say 10 years ago, 9 years ago, after Buster Posey had gotten leveled at the plate, blocking the plate. It was a clean play, but he rips up his knee and he's out for the season at that point. He's one of the big stars in baseball at the point. So we had new rules where catchers can't block the plate and you can't run the guy over. To me, I hate it. It's stupid. Again, a rule we didn't have. If we'd had that in play, we wouldn't even know. We wouldn't have had that great play in the All-Star game in 1970 when Pete Rose leveled Ray Fosse. Yes, it affected Ron Fosse's career, but it's baseball. Take skirts off these guys. I'm going to show this. I'm going to show this play. I hope. Check this out. Okay, let's check this out. I'm going to try to enlarge this, so bear with me a second. See how this works out. Perfect. We can see this pretty good, right? Let's watch this play, shall we? Foot's on the umpire makes the right call here. Out. The catchers, watch this. This is the rule says you got to have a clear lane to the plate. His foot's just straddling the left side of the plate. Robert's got a clear shot to the plate. And I'm sorry, in no world is this a great call. The call here is right. He's out. But they appealed it. Bruce Bochy gets thrown out of the game, rightfully so, because this is a bullshit call, by the way. Excuse my French. So what's wrong with freaking baseball? All these rules that make zero sense. Somebody show me how that play is not legal, even with the stupid rule that you have in place. Thanks for bringing that up, CA. We'll show that again later if anybody else wants to comment on it. Ridiculous. If I'm Bochy, I got to get thrown out of that game. Was it Elvis Andrews? Sorry, I thought it was Robert. He was out. The rule says you can't block the plate. He didn't block the plate. He had 1 foot straddling the left side of the plate, and there was a clear lane. You have to have a clear lane to the plate. You can't get a clearer lane than he had. First of all, the rule stinks. And even if you want to go by the rule, that's a bad call. What's the sense of having instant replay when you can't get it right? Instant replay sucks too, by the way. I'm in a mood today. Oh, man, I'm telling you. Somebody save me from myself. Oh, God. Major League Baseball. Rob Manfred said today one big turnout of Oakland fans doesn't change a decade's worth of inaction. When the A's staged a reverse protest the other day, by all showing up at the ballpark where they haven't done so. I talked about this last week. Where look at that, even in their heyday years of the mid '90s, early 2000s, they're only averaging low 20s, mid 20s at best. In the 70s, they're averaging in the teens. Guy, look you've got to come out and support your team, but Rob Manfred's got to shut up. I can say it. The commissioner of baseball shouldn't be saying it. He did sarcastically say that, maybe if they'd been coming out forever, this would not have happened. He's not wrong. but it's almost an average Major League Baseball crowd. Look it. I don't want to I hate to stick up for Rob Manfred, but he's not totally wrong here. I understand they haven't given up a new ballpark. They've been playing the antiquated football stadium. But you got to come out and support your team when they're any good, and you guys just haven't done it. I'm sorry, A's fans. This is what happens. I'll get back to the All-Star voting. We're going to talk a little bit about stage one here, and then what's up next. Acuna and Ohtani are already part of the team. Already Julio Rodriguez, who's having a horrendous year, by the way, and maybe he should be thinking about how to help his team more, but he's committed to be in the home run derby this year. Who else has committed? Anybody else? I guess he's the first one to commit. Brewers reliever Matt Bush is activated off the IL. Sorry, I'm going back to DL. I just don't care. Disabled list. If I'm offending you, if you're disabled, I'm sorry. It's not meant to offend anybody, and I can't understand how it would. Kenta Medea rejoins the Twins after 2 months as well on the DL. Good pitcher will help the Twins. Twins still leading that Central Division, but just haven't played great baseball. Great job by Rocco Baldelli yesterday, though. Having a good feel for the game and letting Joe Ryan finish, I said, a 3-hit shutout. Perfect game. 9-inning game. Major League Baseball is hoping some grassroots efforts that are underway and draft combine can help find new black players for baseball, because the participation in baseball by blacks has been in decline for decades now. I mean, they're playing basketball. They're playing probably soccer even, or football. What is the number now? Recent study showed black players represent just 6.2% of the opening day rosters this year, down from last year's previous record low of 7.2. Those are the lowest recorded figures in the study that began in 1991, when 18% of the players were black. Latinos have really taken over, where the black players were in the 70s, say. And there's just been, I don't know what the problem is. I don't think baseball knows what the problem is. But they have to do a better job of selling the game to young black athletes, because they're choosing other sports. I'll get to your comments in a second. I want to run through a couple other things here quickly, and then we'll get your comments on some of the stuff we talked about. Rays have benched Wander Franco for the way he's handled frustration. I think Kevin Cash just wants to send a little message to his young shortstop. He's a great player, and he's not going to play Thursday and Friday because of the way he's been acting out, if you will, and showing his frustrations and hurting the team in Kevin Cash's mind. So he's going to give him a chance to kind of sit and watch and maybe reconsider how he conducts himself on the field. What else? I guess that's all. We're going to get into the All-Star results here in a second. Or not, I should say the initial All-Star results here in a second, and we'll get into the standings and whatnot. Well, I'm trying to get this sound to stop. And again, if we want to get into this horrendous call at home plate again the other night, we'll certainly show the video again. What a ridiculous call. Bruce Bochy should get thrown out every time that call's made. CA still talking about he was watching it, and everyone here was shaking their heads. I don't know how you can't. Again, the rule number one is already stupid, that you can't block home plate. Catcher wants to give up his body to help his team, then he should be able to do it. And if a catcher's going to block home plate, then a runner should be free to run him over. It's a stupid rule, and even by the context of the rule, they can't even get it right then. Hello, Drew. How are you? Back from food shopping. What'd you get me? Needed a second mortgage. It's getting bad in there, right? Good to have you with us. So, what did you miss? I talked about Rob Manfred and his ridiculous. I'll recap you real quickly. I praised the Twins and Rocco Baldelli for going against the stream, swimming upstream, and letting his pitcher complete a 3-hit shutout and throw 112 pitches. Holy crap! He said sarcastically yesterday. So great job there. I talked about Rob Manfred's ridiculous still obsession with the overrated Astros sign stealing scandal. And we talked about the horrible call at home plate, which I'll show again, Drew, if you'd like to see it. I'll show you what we're talking about here today, and has us all in an uproar. Let me see if I can get this go backwards to where I want it to be. Here we go. Hold on. Maybe we should show it in stop action, huh? Oh my God. Let me share this. Hold on. We get your opinion on this, Drew. Even again, I think the rule is stupid. But even with the rule that they have in place, you tell me how this guy is out by the rule, because you can't block the plate and the catcher's not blocking the plate. He's got a foot sidled up to the left side of the plate. You got to have a clear lane to the plate, and you tell me there's not a clear lane to the plate here. And I will, if anybody can tell me this play is wrong, go ahead. There's the play. There, he's got a clear lane to the plate. You're out. Watch it from the other angle. And there's his foot, just touching home plate. Umpire gets it right. They reverse the call in replay, and it's just ridiculous. And Bochy gets thrown out as he should. What a ridiculous freaking thing. I mean, good grief. Can we play baseball? Can we play baseball just once? What else did I talk about? I didn't get into the standings yet. I did talk about the red hot Braves and Reds and Giants and the ice cold Pirates, the A's and Royals battling it out for the worst teams in baseball. So you can jump on any of that if you want, Drew. And we'll right now I want to get into the story about not the story. I want to get into the results of the initial All-Star voting. So as you know, the top vote getters are automatically in. So Ronald Acuna, who, by the way, showboated a home run against the Phillies the other night. He better watch his rib cage for a while next time he faces the Phillies. We talked about that this morning on Mac and Jack with the Philly sports guy. Anyway, he's a top vote getter in the National League, and he is automatically in. Ohtani, the top vote getter in the American League, he is automatically in. The finalists, so now they narrow it down to two people now. I don't know if everybody knows about these changes that they've had in recent years, but we have initial vote, then we recalibrate the vote, whatever you want to call it, and we've got finalists at every position. So the finalists in the National League, Murphy from the Braves, Will Smith from the Dodgers at catcher. First base, Freddie Freeman and Olsen. Interesting matchup there. The two people who are the person who replaced Freddie Freeman when he left the Braves. Second base is Luis Arraez. I'm going to keep trying. He was at 400 the other day. Where is he at now? Real quickly, let me take a quick look. Is he still there? And I said I wouldn't talk about this until 397 today. But anyway, great job so far. So I'm not going to berate him. How can you berate a 397 batting average? 400. If he's there August 1st, we'll talk about it a lot. He's one of the finalists with Albies from the Braves. Third base is Nolan Arenado and Austin Riley from the Braves. Shortstop Arcia from the Braves again. Lindor from the Mets. Lindor? He's playing better recently. Outfield Mookie Betts. Rookie of the year. Damn it. Rookie of the year. Bear with me. I keep losing this. There we go. Rookie of the year candidate Carroll from the Diamondbacks. And Lourdes Gurriel from the Diamondbacks as well. A little surprising, but they're probably drawing well. He's playing good baseball, don't get me wrong. Harris, the second from the Braves, is the other finalist in the outfield. The DH is J.D. Martinez and Bryce Harper from the Phillies. The American League finalists, Adley Rutschman, which is going to be one of the great players in the coming years of the Orioles, and Jonah Heim, who I kind of berated in my estimation here, low, and he's playing better baseball. First base, Vlad Jr. and Yandy Diaz from the Rays. Second base, Marcus Simeon from the Rangers, and Whit Merrifield from the Blue Jays. Merrifield's not playing that well. Josh Young, did this again, from the Rangers, and Matt Chapman from the Blue Jays. The shortstops are Bichette from the Blue Jays and Corey Seager from the Rangers. The outfield is Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, Randy Arozarena, another guy who needs to run around the bases when he hits a home run, Jordan Alvarez from the Astros, and Kevin Kiermaier from the Blue Jays, and Aldalis Garcia from the Rangers. I feel like I missed some guys from the... Yeah, they only had 4 guys in the finals. 1, 2... I think they might have missed some guys in this listing for the National League. Let me scroll up here. I don't know. Anyway, now they will, again, restart the vote and see who will be the starters for each one of these. I don't know. The vote goes through. When does the vote go through? If you want to get your vote in, you want to do it soon. The second phase is to determine the remaining 16 positional starters, as I just said, for the July 11th contest. And it will run from noon on Monday through noon on Thursday the 29th. So only 4 days to vote for this. Not even 4 days to vote for this. So then we'll find out our starters, and the rest will be named. What do you got here, Drew? Funny how they're trying to speed up the game, and then they have a delay on that one to go against the call. It's just stupid. You know, I hate replay anyway. I'm in a mood today, so, bear with me. I hate everything. I hate replay. I hate this rule about catchers not blocking the plate. I hate Rob Manfred again. Just put the Astros thing to bed, will you, please? Nobody cares anymore, except people who want to hate on the Astros and are Yankee fans and want to blame that for them losing the ALCS in 2017. I'm a Yankee fan. I don't blame that. You got to score runs to win games, and they didn't. I'm not going to try it again. Next time it'll be totally wrong, Drew. CA, he planted his right foot on the right side of the plate. He's touching the plate. I'll give you that. I'll give them that. There's nothing else he can do. He did everything by the letter of the law, and these guys can't even get it right, watching it 10 times probably in the frickin' booth. And he invited Elvis home, ruined a great throw and overall play. Great, perfect description there, yes. Those were some of the most exciting plays in baseball, and they're wrecked. Stupid replay. The umpires get it right most of the time anyway. Furthermore, the game ended instead of extra innings. Agreed. Many of those old stars don't deserve it. In most cases, their batting average suck. Well, again, we don't care about batting average anymore, Drew. We only care about home runs. No, I will say, of these guys that are in here, a lot of their batting averages stink. Catchers, I'm not going to get into because I would say Freddie Freeman certainly deserves to be there. Olsen probably deserves. Reyes does. Albies, I don't really have an argument with. Arriendo's gets by on his reputation, probably. Austin Riley, one of the great young players in baseball. Arcia could care less. I don't think either Lindor or Arcia necessarily ought to be the finalists here. The outfield, I guess I can't argue too much with those guys, but definitely JD Martinez I'll argue with. And Bryce Harper's got to be on this ballot. He needs to be on this team. Heim's batting average is always a little lackadaisical. Yandy Diaz, I'm sure we could do better than him as a finalist. Whit Merrifield, definitely we can do better than him. I think Chapman and Young have had good years. Bichette, maybe not. Sager, he's missed some games, but I think he's played pretty well overall. Judge has been out. Trout's struggling, maybe the worst slump of his career recently. Rosarina, again, is he a great player? No. Yordan Alvarez is definitely a good ball player. Kevin Kiermaier, to be in the finals? No. Garcia, borderline. 7 Braves in the running for the All-Star game. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know why I'm doubting you. 5. I guess they're showing up to the ballpark and they're voting. Well, I guess you can vote anywhere. They're getting out the word, social media, whatever it is. These teams still have campaigns to help get themselves in. I think we talked about this, right, Drew? The evolution of the All-Star voting and how it was taken away for a while when 7 Reds were voted in. I think it was 7 Reds in 58 or 59. Should the people who hate the Astros also hate the Rangers now since they're in the same state? No, I mean, again, the Rangers aren't, a pariah on baseball apparently because they stole signs like teams have been doing since the game was invented. So they don't have a reason to hate the Rangers anymore. I mean, I root against the Rangers only because I said they'd finish under 500, and I'm wrong. Playing good baseball. They seem to have survived their first speed bump of the season last week. I did say this earlier, Drew, and anybody else who may not have heard it when I was talking about the sign stealing thing. I find it ironic that now pitchers and catchers can use this, mechanism. I do not know what they call it, where the catcher can push a button and let the pitcher know whether he wants a fastball or a curveball. So we use technology. And I said earlier that I guess for a fastball, you get 1 shock to the genitals. I don't know if that's right or not. 2 shocks if it's a curveball. I think that would be funnier than whatever it is. But they can do that to hide the signs. And teams who can't conceal their signs don't get mad when they're stolen. But now we can use technology to hide the signs, but we don't even think about using technology to steal the signs. I don't say I'm crazy about the fact that of how the Astros went about stealing their signs, but it's been a fact in the game forever. And let it go, especially you, Brian Cashman. Just shut up. Your team didn't deserve to win. Yikes, right? What else was I going to talk about today? Great job there, by the way. We talked about McClanahan going down now. Another ace going down for the Rays. There's some crazy stuff in baseball this week too. I mean, again, a lot of showboating. Acuna showboated around the base pass, and he better be careful when he sees the Phillies again. Rizzo doesn't run out what he thinks is a home run the other night. Bounces off the wall, and he gets himself a freaking single. I expect more out of Anthony Rizzo than that. I expect that out of some guys who don't understand the way the game's supposed to be played. I don't understand that out of Anthony Rizzo, not even a little bit. And again, the Yankee announcers, led by Yankee shill. Remember, I'm a Yankee fan. Yankee shill, Michael Kay. Don't say anything bad about these guys. Don't call them out for not hustling and showboating and posing, going in your home run trot when it's not a home run. I am so tired of seeing doubles turned into singles and triples turned into doubles or singles. Easiest thing to do in baseball. You don't need any talent. Just a little bit of coordination is to run. How about you actually do it? Oh, God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Great game last night, as I said earlier, in the College Baseball World Series. I'll get into some more stuff here in a little bit. Let me see. We got a couple comments before I dive into that. I wanted to talk a little bit about last night's LSU Wake Forest game. We'll get into it. I don't know where there it is. What do you got here, Drew, before here we go. Bobby Thompson's HR is supposedly the product of stolen signs. Ralph Branca went to his grave claiming the Giants were stealing signs. So what? Hide your signs better. By the way, hopefully next week the shaking will be done. A program note, we will not be on with the Major League Baseball update on Friday. Maybe we'll try to do it over the weekend or something. I'll be moving on Friday, and we'll have no shows all day Friday. We should be back up and running on Sunday morning with the Stream of Consciousness next week, not this week. Real quick, last night, a great game. LSU and Wake Forest played for the second time in this series. Wake Forest had beat them the first time around. It's double elimination. Were playing for a right to get into the final against Florida. And Wake Forest, it was a great game. The pitching matchup between LSU's Paul Skenes and Wake Forest's Rhett Lauder was tremendous. They're both projected to be top 10 overall picks here in next month's amateur draft. And they pitched great, batching zeros so late in the game. And Wake Forest came in 18-0 in games that Lauder started. But, things started to change in the ninth inning when LSU changed pitchers. And they brought in Hurd, I should say. And by the way, Sken had 9 strikeouts in here. He had 209 strikeouts over 122 innings this year. So he pitched very, very well. But Wake Forest scores. I'm sorry, lost my train of thought here. So bear with me for 1 second while I get back to what I was looking at here. Here we go. I want to look at this, the box score from last night. There we go, Wake Forest. So this game went into the ninth inning scoreless. It went into the 11th inning scoreless, I should say. The bullpens took over, continued to pitch well. It's still 0-0 in the bottom of the 11th when we have a walk-off home run by LSU. And they will go to the finals now against Florida. Great season by Wake Forest. They're the number 1 seed in this tournament. Had a great run. Didn't score any runs in this tournament, though. I think they scored like 8 runs in their 4 games and 3 games. And just a tough way to go out for Wake Forest. But they had a tremendous year. And it should be a great series between two, I think, well-known. And this was Wake Forest's first trip to the College World Series since, I think, 1955, a year that they won it. But 2 well-known college baseball programs will go head-to-head now for 2 out of 3, Florida and LSU. So we'll get you up to date on that on Sunday. That move from Turner Field. What do you got here? That move from Turner Field is the model all teams are wanting. Soon adding multi-million-dollar and condos overlooking the game's owners get a piece of everything where they're shopping. I'm not where that came from, but that's again, these stadiums that are malls as much as they are stadiums is certainly nothing new. Let's look through yesterday. I wanted to get to the standings here before we run out of time for sure. And we'll look at the upcoming weekend's games as well. So Um, to Drew's point, when we look at the American League, he says no one is better than 6-4 in their last 10. The only streaks of note, the Guardians win 4. The A's and the Royals are just. The A's now in a 40 win pace, so they've improved their win pace, but they've fallen back behind the Royals. These teams in a race to be historically be the historically worst team ever in a single season. May go on all year, and maybe the Nationals and the Rockies will join them. I don't know, but the American League East, not a lot of change there. The Rays continue to have the best record in baseball. The Baltimore 6-4 in their last 10, playing okay. Yankees playing absolutely horrendous baseball. Donaldson booed in the field, booed in the at bat. Volpe making ridiculous plays in the field now. The problem is Volpe. The Yankees were in position to keep Volpe and play through his struggles if everybody else had been contributing. But with Judge out, nobody stepping up. Rizzo's not. DJ and Donaldson have been terrible at third base. Bauer and McKinney, the only guys playing any good in the outfield. Stanton's been terrible. Torrey stinks. Rizzo, not even hustling. Now, they had some good news on Judge, and Judge may be close to starting a rehab assignment. Rondon's pitching in the minors. Maybe he'll be back to help soon. But, you know, they may not be able to carry Volpe much longer if the rest of this team doesn't get it together. This team was good enough to be able to carry his struggles in the lineup every day or mostly every day, but not if they're going to play like this. And nobody steps up in the starting rotation. Thank God for the bullpen. I think CA said it earlier. Thank God for the bullpen. They've pitched well for the most part. 7 games over 500. Still leading the wild card chase. But don't assume that's going to last. There's 7 teams. I said 6. I'm starting to have to say the Red Sox are in this. They lost a couple in a row, but they're still in this wild card hunt. And they may stay there if their pitching doesn't totally implode. Sorry, that's probably not the right word to use today, and I certainly don't mean it in any jesting kind of way. Horrible tragedy there with the submersible sub going to the Titanic and those 5 people losing their lives. Not funny. And stay off Facebook with your sick jokes. I like jokes, and I laugh at pretty much everything. I'm not offended by things, but give it some time before you start making, just because people have a lot of money doesn't mean they deserve to die horribly. Anyway, back to baseball. The Blue Jays hanging in there, a couple wins in a row now. Tied with the Yankees, basically half game behind them. Red Sox hanging in there. Will you tell me what the hell that means, CA? Because I still don't know what that is. What the hell is it? I'll get to the NL in a second, Drew. I'll bring that back up. Let me get through the American League here. The Twins continue to lead the Central at 500. The Guardians trying to push through. As Drew said, they won 4 in a row. They're a game out. The Tigers somehow still in third place after they'd lost, I think, 9 out of 11 there for a while, but now they're on a 6-4 pace over their last 10. White Sox 3-7. They're done. They're going to sell. And the Royals are terrible. The Rangers, as I said, have overcome their not overcome. They've so far withstood their first speed bump of the year. 5-5 over their last 10. They got the Yankees starting tonight. It'll be Dunning against Clark Schmidt. Astros have won a couple in a row, only 4-6 in their last 10, though. They remain 5.5 behind. The Angels lost a couple in a row, but are still 6 over. The Mariners still struggling. Game under 500. The A's, we know what they're doing. In the National League, we'll look at Drew's comments here first, and then I'll go through this. The Braves said by the city, said to, what does that say? Said to by the city. own the land and lease everything. Listen, I'm tired of. The A's are going to move to Vegas, and the taxpayers are going to pay for almost all of that, if not all of that new stadium, guaranteed. Taxpayers shouldn't be paying for any of this stuff. It all ought to be privately funded. And if I'm not mistaken, in all of sports, I'll say baseball and football, there's only one totally 100% privately funded stadium in all sports. And if I'm wrong, correct me. But I know in the NFL it's right. And I think it's all of baseball too. And that's the New England Patriots. 100% privately funded. Oh, Drew, I missed your first comment up here. The NL standings are a whole different story. Atlanta 8-2, playing well. Philadelphia lost a couple in a row now, swept by the Braves. I think beating the Braves, at least one of those games, they got rained out last night, would have been important. Their pitching starting to come around. Wheeler's pitched well, certainly since a slow start to the season. Nola coming around a little bit. The Phillies are going to be an interesting story. Castellano, I think, is a really big part of this. He's got 20. He's got 23 doubles, I think, already. He's hitting over 300, playing really good baseball, especially on offense, where he did not last year. He hurt his team most of the time he was in there. The Mets continue to stink, 4-6 in their last 10. 2 games losing streak again. The Mets are going to be an interesting watch here as we get closer to the trade deadline. They may blow some of this stuff up. You might see them unload some salary if they can find somebody to take it. They're going to have to eat. They want to move Scherzer or they want to move Verlander. They're going to have to eat a bunch of the salary. But I wouldn't be surprised to see the Mets make some buyer to buyer moves, right? We know that seller to buyer moves are going to be limited because there aren't a lot of sellers. So you're going to see more buyer to buyer sales this year, I think, trades. And it's going to be very interesting to see what some of these trades look like. And maybe you'll see some bigger names than you think, because teams like the Mets, who still want to win, still may move some big names and try to improve what's been a dreadful product so far. I'll get to your comments here in a second, guys. Let me just get through here. The Reds, again, Drew was on this before me. 11 wins in a row now, playing great baseball. Certainly, obviously 10-0 in their last 10. 5 games over 500 now with a 1.5 lead all of a sudden in the Central. The Brewers trying to hang in there, only 4-6 over their last 10. The Cubs getting a little bit hot, 8-2 over the last 10, still under 500. They could be sellers at the deadline. A lot of talk about potentially, if they don't get back. Again, the problem is they're going to stay in a peripheral of the wild card race because the second tier teams in the National League are not that good. And as long as these teams stay on the cusp of the wild card race, they may fool themselves into thinking they should be buyers. If the Cubs sell Cody Bellinger, who's had a decent bounce back season, but has been injured, it's starting to get a lot of talk in Yankee land. We'll see what happens there. The Pirates, losers of 10 in a row now. They've fallen, I shouldn't say completely out of this race, because they are in the Central, 5.5 games out. And the Cardinals, I don't know what the Cardinals, I see no reason the Cardinals will not be selling Montgomery, will not be selling Flaherty at the trade deadline. And maybe O'Neill, another guy who would fit the Yankees probably pretty well. Hasn't played great this year, has had some attitude problems. But the Cardinals, who hardly ever sell, are likely going to be selling. The Diamondbacks continue to play well, 3.5 games ahead now. The second place Giants, who are playing well, 9-1 in their last 10. And the Dodgers have fallen to third place, 4 games back. They do have a 2-game winning streak. The Padres, every time I look at them, they're 3 games under 500. And the Rockies stink. 8 in a row they've lost. Now we'll get to your comments. We got a few minutes left here. Oh, where are we here? We talked about this. low lives. Where were you about? Oh, the Braves. We talked about all this. 8-2. San Francisco 9-1. The low lives. Washington. Listen, Washington and Colorado may challenge the A's and the Royals before the season's over. They are both terrible. Colorado's got to sell. Colorado's got people that they can move to bring in some reinforcements, whether it's C.J. Cron, Kyle Freeland, Bryant's still got to be healthy to be able to trade him, and Ryan McMahon, who I like a lot. If he can play left field, I'd love to see him in Yankee Stadium. Don't know that he can. Minnesota's won 2 in a row, which allowed them to crawl back to 500 and avoid the embarrassment of having an entire division under that. Don't be surprised if somebody wins that division under 500. That's what happens when you put together this, 3-division setup. Got to pull for the Gators. Too many braggers and Cajuns. I just want to see a good College World Series. That's all. I was pulling for Wake Forest for our friend Larry Sorensen, but wasn't not to be. Great effort, though. See ya, CA. Sorry. Bye-bye to the city, just like myself most of the time. I'm getting lost in these comments. I don't know. Lack of homers by Castellanos in the stadium is bizarre. That is a bit bizarre. But again, his overall numbers are really good. 23 doubles. I think it's 23 doubles, isn't it? Which has got to be close to the major league lead. I mean, that's 46 for the season. That's not too bad. Or more. We aren't quite halfway home yet. Improved his batting average. His defense is still always suspect, but I think he's been much more of a plus for that team than he was last year. But the lack of home runs for him is a bit bizarre. But maybe that's because he's changed his swing a little bit because they want him to put the ball in play a little bit. I think his on-base percentage is pretty good, too. Let me take a quick look here. I looked at this earlier, and I don't remember what I saw. He's hitting .311, 23 doubles, 1 triple, 8 home runs, 43 RBIs, which is pretty good, 355 batting average, or on-base percentage, excuse me. Slugging a little bit down at 484, but overall his OPS 839. So this is pretty good for a guy who really, really struggled last year. Especially when you compare him to Schwarber. Schwarber's got 20 home runs, but he's hitting a .187 with a 328 on-base percentage. This is not helping you. He's got 41 RBIs, but he drove himself in 20 times. So he's only got 21 RBIs other than driving himself in. So who's been more productive? See, Drew's got a comment about Bellinger. Has been atrocious since coming back from his injury. Well, hopefully he hasn't regressed to his late Dodger days. I'm confident. I'm not a huge Cody Bellinger fan, but Cody Bellinger can play all 3 outfield positions, quite frankly. He can play left field, which is not easy in Yankee Stadium. It's a big left field. I think he can play a competent defense out there, which they need. And Yankee Stadium might be the perfect remedy for what ails Cody Bellinger. Not a huge fan, but if I got to keep watching, after watching Aaron Hicks out there for all these years, and by the way, Aaron Hicks is playing really good baseball for the Orioles, excuse me. He's played 17 games. Let's not forget, it's a 17-game window. I've had this argument with Jack Hirsch 2 weeks in a row now. I don't care if Aaron Hicks hits 50 home runs the rest of the year for the Orioles. It will not be a bad move by the Yankees cutting him. He could not play in Yankee Stadium. He had one decent season in all the time he was there, which got him his contract. He's either been hurt or atrocious every other season. He can't play in New York. Maybe he can play somewhere else. He's not a bad guy. I don't wish him ill. But he needed to be off my team. I don't care what he does somewhere else. It's irrelevant. He did not produce for the team he was on. And he was not going to, because New York City is a hard place to play. And if you don't think it's easier to play in Baltimore than New York, then you're just not paying attention. What do you got here, CA? So many in the races, won't be many selling. I think there'll be a more buyer to buyer trades than normal, because to find a trade partner, you're going, and it'll be more like the old days, right? Where guys look to not necessarily win trades, but trade for need and give somebody else something they need. So you may see some old fashioned horse trading done this year, between teams that are actually competing for playoff positions. Interesting if the Redbirds open more than usual to stock the farm system. I think they will. I think Flaherty's a free agent after the year. I believe Montgomery's a free agent after the year. I think they're both history. I think Tyler O'Neill's probably going to be out of here, or out of there. And he's another guy who's struggled some this year, has an attitude issue, but maybe the Yankees he'd look pretty good on. Here's Alan. Good evening. I'm sorry. Good afternoon, Alan. Good to have you with us as we get to wrap it up. I'm already over time. Crazy we live in a world where the Rangers, Reds, D-backs, and Rays lead their respective divisions. I feel like I'm in a bizarro world. Anybody who predicted those guys leading here as we get close to July, you ought to be going to Vegas. Or help me pick my lottery numbers. We'll finish up your comments and then we'll get out of here. I feel like any team that isn't above 500 in the AL Central, then it shouldn't be talked about. Well, there's nobody above 500, so we won't talk about them at all. Again, I will give the AL Central credit for one thing. Joe Ryan pitched the first complete game shutout the Twins have had in 5 years. Congratulations to him and Rocco Baldelli for fighting against the current and actually letting a guy complete games. And he threw an unheard of 112 pitches. Nolan Ryan just yawned. Hold my beer. Oh, you're good. Good point there, Drew. 350. But again, compared to other people, 355 is pretty good. What's well, I should look at Harper. Harper walks a lot. But let's use him as a comparison. Where is he? Let me just use Harper as a comparison. He's hitting 296 with a 390 bat. That's good. I mean, how many walks does he have? 21. So anyway, do you think so? Because Schwarber's got 53 walks compared to 21 for Castellanos. I mean, you would not make an argument, I hope. I could be wrong, that Schwarber is a more productive player than Castellanos. One thing I always look at is RBIs and subtract how many times you drove yourself in. Schwarber's only driven in 21 runs other than himself. 35 for Castellanos. So I think the guy's had a bounce back year. When I look at some of the on base percentages around baseball, 355, however you get there, is still good. Now, should he walk more? Sure. You need a side to keep up with the chat and add conversation with you and everyone. Oh, maybe. Bellinger's hitting 299 with versus right-handers. That's a bad sign. Who's retiring again? Rick Sherlock, I heard, will be retiring soon. St. Louis has a glut of outfielders in the majors and AAA, need pitching badly. Well, maybe if they'll take, I don't know who the Yankees would give up for Tyler O'Neill. But again, another guy the Yankees will probably be checking out. Schwarber's tended to lead off, so he can't drive in as many guys as Castellanos. Well, he could if the bottom of the order. I don't know. All right. You can tell me that Schwarber's better than Castellanos, but I'm not a Schwarber fan. Sorry. How many times has he struck out? Well, both of them stink there. 93 times Schwarber struck out. We haven't even played half the season. It's just a poor man's Joey Gallo. Reds in the NL, A's, Rays in the AL, biggest surprises. I don't know about the Rays. I mean, yes, I didn't think they were going to be that good, so we'll call them a surprise. Are they the biggest surprise in the AL? I would think the Rangers are a bigger surprise in my mind, but it's not probably to Texas fans who already thought they were going to do well before. Is that your Gator sign? I can't tell what that is. Reckon you could co-host this after his vacation. I don't do well with co-hosts. I end up getting mad and blowing my top. I like to dominate the conversation. We'll see. And this morning, I even blew my top today when I didn't even have the Mad New Yorker with me. So I managed to get myself angry. What do we got here, Drew? Need a better co-host. I like co-hosts. Listen, the Mad New Yorker gets a bad rap sometimes, but I enjoy it because I know I'm almost always going to be on the other side of our arguments with him, and it makes for a good debate show. And it's all in good fun, believe me. So, guys, thanks for joining me today. A lot of stuff going on in Major League Baseball. And Rob Manfred, I'm going to tell you one last time, forget about the Astros and their freaking stealing signs. Don't you have more important things to worry about? Like strikeouts in the major leagues? Why the game still stinks too much? I don't know. Guys, I'll see you next week. No, I won't see you next week. No show next week. We'll be off as we make the move up the Northway, and we'll be back. I'll be back on Sunday with the Stream of Consciousness show, and that'll be it until the following Sunday at best. Thanks for joining me. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the baseball. Good luck, Rangers. You got the Yankees. Have fun.